Have you guys ever noticed that when a cheating issue becomes public, especially on social media, people tend to react differently depending on whether the person involved is a man and women? These differences shows that language is not just used to describe a situation. It is also used to judge and assign blame. These judgments reflect deeper gendered biases and double standard in the society. And this lead us to our study entitled Gendered Moral Blame in Philippine Infidelity Discourse, a Feminist Critical Discourse Analysis. Infidelity is a common social issue that affects trust and relationship, often leading to emotional distress and even separation. However, beyond in its personal impact, it also reflects broader social issues, especially in how people judge men and women differently. In the Philippine context, these differences are very noticeable in language. Women involved in infidelity are often labeled with harsh or derogatory terms, while men are described using milder or more forgiving expressions. This suggests that language does not only describe the situation, but also play a role in shaping and reinforcing an equal moral judgment between genders. Now, for the review of related literature of this study, according to Google Me et al. 2023, media often assigns communal traits such as being warm and expressive to women, while men are associated with agentic traits like being assertive and ambitious. This reinforces unequal situations, expectations, and power relations between genders. Furthermore, according to Willem 2021, when women deviate from their expected rules, they often face social sanctions that pressure them to conform to traditional norms. In the context of social media, labeling becomes more explicit and critical. According to User et al. 2023, women are judged often based on their appearance or morality, while men are described in terms of their status or behavior. In addition, according to UNESCO 2024, social media algorithms amplify these gender stereotypes by repeatedly promoting biased content which reinforce unequal perceptions. And according to Aleke et al. 2021, moral judgment is often influenced by the language even before people fully understand the fact. Their culpable control model explains that people tend to assign blame first and then interpret actions in a way that justifies the blame. This means that the word or label used can exaggerate a person's responsibility and make them appear more guilty. In the online discourse, this effect becomes even stronger, and according to Brady et al. 2020, the use of moral emotional language increases the spread of virality of the content, which strengthens collective judgment. And furthermore, according to Gray and Wigner 2023, these labels frame individual either or moral agent who are responsible of wrongdoing or as a victim. These patterns often align with these existing social biases and can reinforce an equal moral judgment. For Philippine cultural context of infidelity and gender norms, according to Aguilar et al. 2021, Philippine society reflects on double standard when it comes to infidelity, where male infidelity is often tolerated while women are judged more harshly. This influenced by patriarchal values such as the idea of the padre de familia, which normalizes male sexual freedom but condemns women's actions. And according to Medina 2022 and Reyes 2023, cultural and religious norms further intensify this bias. Concepts such as hiya or shame and the expectations of women as the ilaw ng tahanan or the light of the home lead to harsher moral judgment towards women. Meanwhile, men's actions are often excused in order to preserve the image and the unity of the family. For the research gap of this study, previous research on infidelity has mainly focused on its ecological, emotional, and social effect. Studies also shows that there are gender-based double standard where women are often judged more harshly than men. This is according to the study of Frenchman and May 2017 and et al. 2020. However, there is still a gap in the literature when it comes to the linguistic perspective. In particular, there are limited studies on how language, especially word choices, shape this judgment in the Philippine context. Specifically, few studies have examined how the words used to describe the other women and the cheating men reflect and reinforce gendered moral blame in society. The audience of this study is intended for students, social media users, researchers in gender studies and linguistics, as well as educators and media practitioners. It aims to raise awareness of how language and social media reflect and reinforce gender double standards and infidelity, encouraging more critical and responsible use of words in public discourse. The main objective of this study is to analyze the lexical choices used in selected Philippine social media posts when describing the other women and the cheating men. This is to understand how language reflects gendered pattern of blame and infidelity case. Specifically, the study aims to first identify the lexical items of word used to describe the other women and the cheating men in the selected Philippine social media post. Second, it aims to analyze how these word choices assign blame differently to women and men. And third, it aimed to examine recurring lexical patterns and reflect societal perceptions of morality and the gender rules in cases of infidelity.
For the theoretical framework, this study is grounded in feminist critical discourse analysis or FCDA, which examines how language reflects and reinforces gendered power relation and societal inequalities. FCDA views discourse as a site where societal norms, values, and ideologies are constructed. In the context of infidelity in the Philippine social media, FCDA is used to analyze how lexical choices assign moral responsibility describing to men and women. Terms describing women are more negative, while men are described using milder expression reflecting a gendered trouble standard. And this is our conceptual framework. First is the selected Philippine social media post, followed by lexical identification and categorization. Third is the application of feminist discourse analysis or FCDA, and last is the construction of gendered blame and societal perceptions. And for our research design, this study uses a qualitative research design guided by feminist critical discourse analysis. The approach is descriptive interpretive, focusing on identifying lexical items and interpreting how they construct moral judgment and assign blame across genders. For our research corpus sampling and instrument, the corpus consists of 25 selected social media posts from Philippine-based platforms, mainly Facebook. These posts explicitly discuss infidelity and include description of the other woman and the cheating man. A coding and analysis matrix is used as the main instrument organizing data into categories such as lexical item, reference, connotation, gender attribution, and interpretative note to support systematic FCDA analysis. And for the research locale and data sources, the study is situated in the Philippine digital social media environment considered a virtual research locale. There are no human participants. Instead, the data came from publicly accessible posts, and authors are treated as anonymous discourse producers, and the analysis focuses solely on linguistic content rather than user's identity. And this is our research procedure. Data collection began with the keyword searches. Example, kabet, ahas, cheating, or third party. Then, posts were screened based on inclusion criteria, and 25 qualified entries were selected and coded. Lexical items were extracted and organized into the analysis matrix. The study then applied FCDA through stages of identification, categorization, and interpretation to examine gendered patterns in moral judgment and blame attribution. And this is the matrix of the table. We will start with the first questions, method used, and then the output. Our first question is that what lexical items are used to describe the other woman and cheating man in selected social media posts. Here, we will do lexical identification and FCDA. Then for our output is the list of gendered descriptors. For our second question, how do these lexical choices assign blame differently to women and men in these posts? We will do a comparative FCDA analysis, and then the output will be the pattern of gendered blame. And last, for our third question, what recurring lexical patterns reveal societal perceptions of morality and gendered rule in cases of infidelity? Here we will use thematic pattern analysis from FCDA, and for the output, we will identify societal norms and ideologies.